Hello friends, I'm the Reverend Terry Peterson, minister of St. John's in Guruk. Today is Saturday, the 13th of March, and it is the 22nd day in the season of Lent. So our 22nd object of faith is keys. Keys are the things we use, of course, to protect things, to shut things away from other places or people, and to control access to our space and to the things that are important to us. So when we lock the door, we keep people out and we keep people in. When we lock up a box, we're saying that whatever is inside that box is important enough to be protected. So keys are a fascinating thing because in many ways they tell us more about what we value than many other things in our homes. So we might lock up our house because, of course, we value the people inside as well as the objects inside. Sometimes we lock up the boxes that hold our documents, birth certificates and things like that you would want to be safe in case anything were to happen. We might lock up, the silver or jewelry or things if you have something that costs a lot of money. I don't have anything like that, so there's no need to lock up anything like that inside of this house, but I know some people have that, and many churches keep their communion silver, for instance, in a locked space. Cars have keys. I sometimes forget about that since I don't drive anymore. But of course, the key to a car doesn't only open the door, but also makes it go. So you definitely have an element of both protecting your property, but then also of the ability to move about in a way that you wouldn't have if you didn't have the key. Sometimes we talk about keys as a piece of understanding something, like the key that unlocks our understanding or our knowledge. So all of these things are really about access. They're about controlling who has access to whatever it is that's under lock and key. So keep that in mind when you hear then this verse about keys. It might be the one that most quickly comes to mind when we think about keys in the Bible. It's from the Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 16, verse 19. Jesus said to Peter, "I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." Now later on, Jesus is also going to say to the whole community of disciples, to the budding church community, that whatever they bind on earth or loose on earth will be bound or loosed in heaven. So that particular task will be given to the community. But this is the only time the keys come up. So I think it's interesting to think about what it means to control access to the kingdom of heaven. What is it that would unlock the kingdom of God? And why does Peter get to be the one to hold on to those keys? So it can't be entirely about saying or doing the right thing, because in the moments before Jesus said this, Peter had just for the first time, remember we're 16 chapters into the gospel, Peter had just for the first time declared Jesus to be the Messiah. But then immediately after this, Peter goes on to show that he doesn't have any idea what he actually meant by the word Messiah, and he basically tells Jesus he's doing it wrong. He's Messiah-ing wrong. So Peter's understanding of his words and the actions that didn't match up with his words show us that it's not only about our words and actions as to whether we have access to the kingdom of God that is so valuable it needs keys. Now this is super interesting because in the book of Revelation it says that the city of God, which is enormous, like bigger than you can even imagine, it takes up basically the whole known world and is like miles and miles high. So it's huge, enough room for everyone to live in this amazing urban place that God has offered for the new creation, the new heaven and earth. And the city of God, it says, has gates that will never be shut by day, and there's no night there. So the gates of the city of God, the gates of the kingdom, are never closed. And yet, Jesus says that Peter gets the keys. So I don't have an answer to this, but I think it's interesting to just think about what it is about the kingdom of God that's so valuable it needs protecting, it needs locking up, and then what is the key that allows access to that. So whenever you are locking something or unlocking something, give thanks for the privilege of owning things or having things that are valuable enough to keep locked up. And perhaps pray for the day when we come to the new heaven and earth where there's no need for keys, there's no need for closed doors, because all are welcome and loved and equally provided for. So that's my thought today about keys for the 22nd day of Lent. I hope you have a great weekend. Tomorrow is Sunday, and Sundays are not technically a part of Lent, but we will be together for worship online and coffee hour and children's time and Bible study, all of them on Zoom. So I hope to see you there, and I will see you again here on Monday for the 23rd day. Until then, peace be with you.